The Film Size Crew review Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No.
Wait, what do you mean? What?
Nah. Well, it's not actually out yet, so...
Oh, but last week we told all the listeners that we would be reviewing it. What are we reviewing?
Don't know. We'll have to find out.
Alright.
Hey team, Angus, Strachan here, and welcome to the
Film Slice Podcast.
I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Wiggly Kane Dogs.
Thank you.
And the man formerly known as Broadman Richards. This week he is known as Tintin Quarantino.
Yep.
Tintin Clarentino?
Quarantino. With a qu.
Quarantino.
Yeah, not Quarantino. Quarantino.
Yeah,
Tintin Quarantino. I see what you've done there. Tintin.
So, the plan was to review Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
And we're men of our word.
This,
Well,
however...
two of us are men. And two of us keep our word. Together, we are men of our word.
We've never let the listeners down, and we're not about to today.
Okay, that makes this next thing really tricky to say.
Oh, have I accidentally put my foot in it?
It's not out yet.
Oh yeah, that's why that's why I can't remember.
Weird that you didn't realise that.
Well, the thing is, I usually
John, you've gone and put your foot in your sock? And I mean, come on, man.
I usually can't remember the films that we're reviewing until someone says it in this podcast, so that's probably... I should get that checked out.
Probably.
What are we reviewing?
So we decided, very last minute, to stick on the Quentin Tarantino choo-choo train.
Yep.
And we stopped in the first station. His first movie.
His birthday. No, it's not.
No, we didn't watch that either.
Ah.
You're really struggling today with what we watched.
Someone has put me out of my misery. I mean, presumably this video is titled, so I'm the only one in this position because the listeners know, but...
So, we decided to review Reservoir Dogs. That's right.
Reservoir Dogs.
Quentin's first movie, the one that got him famous, the ones that got him recognised.
Yep.
Here we go. Kane Dogs, whip out that IMDb summary.
I'm not gonna, because I'm holding the DVD in my hand.
Okay,
So
whip
I'm
out
just
that DVD summary.
This is going to be the first podcast where there hasn't been an IMDb summary.
But there will be
because
a
of
blurb.
Jordan's laziness to not pick up his phone.
But there'll be a blurb. Alright, you ready? In 1992, video store clerk and amateur filmmaker Quentin Tarantino came to this is just a biography of him. Reservoir Dogs, critically acclaimed for its raw power and breathtaking, this is still not... Now available in a special 2-disc 15th anniversary edition. Look.
Thanks for that summary, Jordan. Totally worth not bringing up the tried and tested IMDb summaries of the past.
Look, it's a good movie. It's like a heist. It's like what happens when a heist goes wrong kind of deal. It's pretty good.
Yep, it can be summed up in 2 words, post-heist. Thanks, Jordan.
You're welcome.
So,
over to you, Brody.
when did you see the movie? When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
I saw it probably 10 years ago or more. Mm-hmm. In fact, definitely more. But also, I saw it an hour ago.
That would have made you 3.
I'm 25. How could...
You're 25.
More than 10 years ago.
You look 13.
15. I reckon I
You look really young for your age.
Yeah, man.
How do you do it?
Maybe it's Maybelline.
It's not Maybelline, I'll tell you fucking how much.
I don't think he's born with it either.
I wasn't a you met my dad.
Maybe it's
Certainly
plastic
not genetic.
surgery. Okay.
Cool. Tintin Quarantino?
Yeah.
When did you see
That's
the
my
movie?
name. I saw it 10 years ago and 10 minutes ago. Nothing like another 10 out of 10. Nah. Yeah, saw it a long time ago. Saw it recently as well.
Very recently as well, yes.
Although we're only doing the when did you see it part, the least important part of the 2 questions. Angus, when did you see it? And apparently we don't give a fuck what we thought.
Well, I saw it for the first time.
Well, yeah, this is what I was interested in, is mainly your opinion of this film.
I saw it for the first time about an hour and a half ago.
Yep.
Not the biggest Quentin fan, just because
you hadn't seen Reservoir Dogs until 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his style. I've seen a few of his movies,
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Probably because I use a cup of tea as an analogy, whereas he would use a
Cup of blood.
cup of blood and a dead person. Anyway, what did I think?
He's seeing a psychologist about than Angus, and it's not fair to bring it into this podcast.
What did I think? It was very Tarantino. Good to see he's kind of been sticking to his guns. through all of his
Nice.
films. You know, just kind of shooting the same trajectory.
Yeah, nice.
It's right through the
Blood.
So,
in summary, I didn't like it.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Brody, what did you think of your rewatching of Reservoir Dogs?
I like the film, but it's definitely one of those films where I only would have needed to watch it once.
Yep.
And I did 10 years ago.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It's one of those films where it's like, I feel like you really need to be in the mood.
Had you seen it recently?
No.
Like prior to tonight, obviously?
No. I saw it 10 years ago.
Okay.
I've seen it twice in my life. Once when I was in high school and
Really?
once now.
Oh, okay.
And so I feel like it's definitely a film that I would have needed to be in the mood. And seeing though I haven't been in the mood for the last 10 years.
I've been struggling to get Brody in the mood.
I feel like, yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what pushes my buttons. I feel like I would have never have been in the mood, if that makes sense. If I wasn't in the mood the last 10 years, next 10 years, 20 years, whatever.
That's fair.
And so, yeah.
I hadn't seen this movie in probably 4 or 5 years, but I have seen it a lot. And I wasn't sure whether this film was going to have aged because over that past 5 years, I've changed my perspective of films quite a bit. And so going into it this time, I wasn't sure whether I was actually going to like it or not. But I fucking loved it. It was still fantastic. I loved every bloody second of it. It was the only thing that made this film better was also watching Angus squirm whilst I watched it. That's the only thing that heightened my excitement for this film was knowing that Angus was going to squirm and the fact that I told him that it wasn't that violent, which was my favourite thing
Probably
ever.
about every 10 minutes or so, I just kind of slowly turn my head to the left of me to see Brody and Jordan just like nodding appreciatively with all of the blood and gore and me just feeling like I'm going to hell.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, no, I
Feeling
love
like
this
I'm
film.
gonna
I
throw
still love
up.
this film. I watch this film as much as I can. I'll watch this film every week and still be
Yeah.
happy with it.
Last 5 years, couldn't
Last 5 years don't
couldn't get
count.
it build up the energy.
I just wanted to really wait until Angus was at his most vulnerable moment and then just, bam, slam him with a Tarantino classic.
Just shoot me in the guts.
Shoot him straight in the
Straight
stomach.
in the stomach. Let me bleed out over a couple of days or two.
Wink.
Right, Angus, is there anything
Wink.
you want to add to this bit?
No, I think we're ready to move on to the next bit. And lads, you know how every week I put up on
Twitter and all that
Twitter
shit,
and
yep.
Instagram and Facebook.
I do.
Okay,
I do.
you do
Twitter.
Facey?
I do.
Yep.
Twitter.
Broadman does Twitter.
Yep.
By the way, how is we've had a bit of problems in the past with our
Yeah.
Twitter accounts.
Quentin
Cappuccino.
Is
Yeah,
where we are
Quentin
now?
Cappuccino is bust. Unfortunately,
Ooh, again.
Basically, everyone thought I was the real Quentin Cappuccino, but
Right.
Quentin Cappuccino was just a funny name that came out because it kind of sounded like Quentin Tarantino. Apparently,
I
there's a
thought it
guy.
sounded familiar.
Apparently, there's a guy named Quentin Cappuccino, and he appears in all of his cups of coffee, which is pretty cool. That's bust. So I've had to come up with some new ones. But I thought for a little something different because when I had Quentin Cappuccino, I did get some messages from our
that's good.
fans, but they wanted to talk to each of us kind of directly. And so
okay.
I thought I'll make 3 Twitter accounts today, and we can each have one.
yeah.
So
Will you run mine on behalf of me? Because I still don't know how to use any of the laptops.
yeah. So if you want to talk to Jordan, aka me, that's Tintin wearing some chinos.
Okay, I like it.
Yep. If you want to talk to Angus, are you going to run your own one, or do you want me to run it for you?
I'm pretty busy, man. Can you
Yeah, I'll run.
pick
Yeah,
the slack up on that one?
You'll go through me.
thanks. Yeah.
So Angus is Tim Broth at Tim Broth.
Okay,
For
nice.
Angus.
Good.
And then if you want to reach me, which is run by me, it's
Bro,
Steve.
did you want me to handle yours, or are you good?
You know what? I am handling 2 Twitter accounts.
Do you want me
So
to
probably
look
if
up
you
these?
want to take one off my back,
Angus,
that'd
would
actually
you
be
be able
really
to show
helpful.
me how to use a laptop?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so
well,
if you
we
want to
can
get
that
at
covered.
me through Angus and Jordan, then that's at Steve Sashimi. So there you go.
Yeah, cool, sweet. Okay, and no comments on Cappuccino. Anything about Reservoir Dogs? Did anyone just
Nah.
kind of figure out that?
No, mainly
we
coffee
were a
related
week
stuff,
early?
man.
Yeah,
yeah,
cool. I didn't put it up on Instagram because, again, didn't really know what we were doing 2 hours ago.
Yep.
But really, just really quiet on all fronts. Anyway.
Yeah, so why don't
No
we
one-
just repeat out some of our favorite comments from last week?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so we've got one here from Hooverman91. He says, I wrote a poem. And it goes like, it says, Hobbs and Shaw, I wanted more. Giddy up, son! I got a nice bun. We talking bread, boy? No, latte with soy. What does that mean? I saw the Queen. She was eating a green bean. I heard she drives a Holden. Nope, that's that dickhead Jordan. So that was my favourite one from last
Fond
week.
memories.
For sure.
Fond memories from then. I'm glad I can relive them now.
Most liked comment,
that's
actually.
a Hoverman...
I'm actually getting t-shirts made.
Hoverman 91?
Like, I'm not making them. They've been made, and I'm getting sent them all the time. Wow.
It's
really
weird
annoying.
to find out that you're being sent something before you received it.
I know, yeah. Yeah. I just keep getting updates from the Australia Post.
Yeah, wow.
That's crazy, man.
The Australia Post.
Yeah, whom of which are also wearing the shirts. I don't know,
Wow.
that's spread really fast.
That's
Whom of which indeed. Anyone hit you up on Facey Cane Diggity?
As you brought up, we didn't really know what we were doing until
All right.
about 2 hours ago.
I mean,
so-
I've got a lot of stuff for this segment, guys. I feel like you guys could have put a bit of effort in.
Angus, what's our next segment that we usually do after this segment that
Next
we've done
segment is
really well?
Would you recommend?
Would you recommend it? Who would you recommend it to? I would say I would recommend it to anyone that likes Quentin Tarantino films
And this movie.
and this movie, I guess. If you haven't seen it already, yeah, give it a watch. If you like blood and gore and you're kind of okay with that, it is very artsy still, which I did enjoy. But it was a bit OTT for the blood and
That means out the trap.
yeah.
A lot of Draculas in the movie.
A lot
yeah.
of Draculas, yeah.
A lot of Draculas.
Yeah, yeah, that's all I have
That's
to
fair.
say to
I kind
recommend
of agree with that. If you're,
Do not recommend it to anyone underage.
I mean, I watched it
I
when
was
I was
underage,
14,
yeah, I was like
13, 14,
14.
and I
Yep.
fucking loved it.
And I stand by my...
yeah, that's fair.
Shouldn't-
That's fair.
Yep. Tintin.
Tintin. I pretty much agree with what you said. If you're a fan of Tarantino, fan of violence, what? No. If,
I'm a fan of violence.
If you're not,
I love this movie.
If you don't have an adverse reaction to violence, if you're okay with that in a film, then watch this one. I think there's some interesting stuff to be had in this viewing of a film.
Agreed.
Just adding on top of that, if you like things like Goodfellas, The Departed, any of those old school gangster films, this one's one of those. I've always considered this to be up there with just one of those great classic sort of mobster, wise guy kind of films. Yeah.
Anyway, spoilers. Going into our spoilers. And sound the alarm, Angus. Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
All right, we are in the spoiler section where we dissect and divulge everything about the film. You've been warned. It has been quite a while since it came out, so if
I mean, it's
you don't
not
want
quite fair.
Tim
to say
Roth's
that
a cop.
'cause you hadn't seen that until right now. Tim Roth's a cop.
Cinema Dicks. Anyone got anything to say? It is a safe space here.
I've just written down Jordan, obviously. We watched it together.
Cinema
We watched it
Dicks.
together.
Yeah, we did.
Although I wish we
all
didn't.
We all sat on the couch. One big happy family.
I
Well,
sat on a different couch.
me and Angus sat on the couch as a happy family. Jordan decided to sit apart from us because he's not very nice.
So, yeah, well, we've done Cinema Dicks. Blasted through that one. Most positive thing about the film. Who would like to go first?
I would like to go first. I think I really enjoy the format of this film, the way it's laid out. It's one of the things that I miss in Quentin Tarantino films that he tried to bring back in Hateful Eight, but it didn't land for me as well. But in Reservoir Dogs and in Pulp Fiction, the story is not told in a linear fashion.
yeah.
It's not told, chronologically. It sort of gives you different bits of information at different times, which creates far more mystery around each character and keeps you more intrigued about the story. Overall, it's quite a boring story if you tried to tell it in a linear fashion. It's quite a simplistic film. But in the way he sort of gives information to people and the way he delivers that to the audience just means that you don't know what's happening until the end of the film, and some things that you wouldn't know, you know before they happen, and that adds a bit of excitement because you know the other characters are about to come up against some stuff.
Yeah.
I really just fucking love that. It's really cool.
I would liken that to... I really enjoyed that
Reminds
style,
me of
style
Memento.
as well.
Memento?
Memento, yeah.
Memento.
Yeah.
Memento.
With
Memento.
Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. I did
is a
really
great
enjoy
movie.
that. No, I agree. It's kind of told the way that I would explain it is it's told in a fashion that say a policeman would find out the story, like he's interviewing different people and you get like the different story. So you start at the end, obviously, where the crime's been committed and this has happened and all of that. And then you just kind of get different people's stories.
Obviously, he got his ideas from the classic film Hoodwinked.
Yes. Of course. Yeah.
Clearly, Quentin Tarantino borrowed a few of those
It's a classic.
things,
It's a classic, yeah. Also, just kind of off the cuff here, but also I noticed a lot of similarities between this and your Year 12 media project.
Look,
that we
due to certain legal obligations,
Copyright
I'm
laws.
not allowed to release that movie anymore, and it has been taken down from YouTube. But I would like to thank Quentin Tarantino now for acknowledging and allowing me to steal most of his use most of his ideas. I did get his permission.
I thought he copied you.
Wait,
That's a much better he straight up stole that from me, and I'm suing his ass.
I was gonna say because your Year 12 mini film was called Reservoir Hogs, so I was like,
It was.
oh wow.
Tintin, what's your most positive thing about the film?
I liked, I did like the cinematography,
Yeah.
and I can talk about that later if we're running out of time, but I really did like Steve Buscemi. I reckon he was really awesome. Love his character. I love how he's kind of the voice of reason throughout the entire thing,
Mr.
even though
White,
he's
or is
Mr.
he
Pink.
Mr. Pink.
Mr. Pink.
Cool.
Mr. Pink, he's kind of like basically almost like a voice of reason, but he's also like a bit of a weasel.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of like he's like a very real character, and I love that throughout the entire film he doesn't like get hurt. He's the one that actually made it away with the diamond, so he did his job professionally. He keeps talking about being a professional. He did his job professionally. He didn't run into any trouble. He got away. He met up with him. He did everything right, and he gets away in the end. And it's like for him, it's like a happy ending for the character, right?
After.
I actually really like that. I feel like in some films having a depressing end is kind of like it's like can be pointless if there's no big bang to it or whatever.
If there's not a meaning left behind,
Yeah.
then it's sort of
In this film, I kind of love that like he gets away with the diamonds. And all of this other like terrible dramatic stuff happens as well. I just really love his character.
Yeah, I totally agree as well. And I think you hit on something there where, like, I feel like Steve Buscemi is sometimes typecast as the weasel. And, like, very early on in the film, they're like, there's a rat amongst us, someone's ratted us out.
Yeah.
And immediately you go to, well, he's the most rattiest looking person in the
he looks like a rat. That's what I have to say. He looks exactly like a rat.
The other thing I found interesting was seeing Steve Buscemi in that kind of a role because, like, I guess that was more of his kind of the prime of his life.
Like when he was
that. Like I've
beginning as
seen
well.
Steve Buscemi in a lot of things, but mostly he kind of plays the older kind of person.
Yeah.
The more wiser, been there, done that kind of a thing. So it was really interesting to see Steve Buscemi because I don't think he's
Boardwalk Empire. It's the last thing I know him from.
yeah, and Spy Kids too. What? Anyway,
The classic Steve Buscemi film.
yeah, pretty similar. Reservoir Dogs, really.
I think all of the characterizations of this really make the film. Obviously, it leans very heavily on characters. There's not a lot else going on. It's a character study first and foremost, from my perspective. And yeah, every character, as different as they are, all felt really believable. I really believe Tim Roth's character and all the decisions he makes sort of make sense in my head. Mr. White, his character is really, really cool. Like, all of the characters except for maybe Mr. Blonde, who's a bit inconsistent at times. So they're all really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, cool. Negatives. Most negative thing about the film. I'll go first.
Yep.
Just way too much blood, man.
Not
way
enough!
Too much blood. It's way too gory. A guy's ear gets cut off.
Yes.
And the camera kind of moves away. So it's like you know what's happening. Let the imagination run wild. But then hard cut to a gentleman with his ear cut off, and you can see everything. It's obviously
You
it's
can see his ear
the
canal.
ear's pinned back, and then they've put makeup on the side or something. But it's just a bit too much, really.
awesome.
Settle down, mate. Just
It's bloody awesome.
no, we don't need to see that. No one needs to see that. I could have gone
Calm
my whole life
your
without
harm.
seeing that. Yeah, that was my biggest negative.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Which is pretty much my negative with all Quentin Tarantino films. And I know some people like that. That's what you do in the privacy of your
and they're
own
probably
home.
sickos.
Yeah.
Also, fucking loved it.
You bloody dicko. I have a least favourite.
Yes.
Or at least negative. Whatever.
Go for it.
I just felt like watching it now on a second viewing, I guess, even so many years later, I feel like the pacing can be a little bit, it can just be a little bit off. There's it's
Bit staggered.
yeah, and it's also one of those things where it's now that I know the twist, I know the ending, So it isn't that much of an interesting journey getting there as much as it was the first viewing, if you know what I mean. Like as much as you can like delve into like loving the characters, if I'm not super like a massive fanboy of the characters, it's just kind of like, this is kind of cool, but at the same time, it's just like, there's just so many moments where it's just like, this feels real fucking slow.
Yeah, because you can see it all coming, and you know.
And I noticed that there were moments where all three of us were just like, laid back, or we went, we exhaled or whatever, or like checked the time on our phone or whatever.
Here we go.
It was just like, there's just a few of those moments in there, and I feel like that just comes out.
Totally.
Like
it does seem like, I know we made this this idea earlier between this film and Kane Doug's Your Media film in Year 12, but to me it does seem very much like someone's
a work of
early
art. I've done a great job.
Yeah,
like
it goes with all
like
set it in one location.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like a really
it's like
great student
low
film.
budget.
Yeah, it's cheapest. Yeah.
Felt like a student film, a really well constructed student film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which isn't always a bad thing, but probably one of the worst things about student films is they tend to drag on. Because they want to put everything that they shot in there. They want to keep all of that stuff in there, but it's like sometimes you just like get it done. Which is odd because it's like it's only an hour and a half long, isn't it? So it's not like
it's not a long film.
It's not breaking the banks by any standards, but it is a very small story. Like it would have been. I reckon this would have been an awesome short film. And I wonder if he made it as a short film first, and then maybe
started out as a short film in his head as like a script.
That's what it kind of looks like to me. But I have no idea.
But I think it's just one of those films that you just need to be in the mood for.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just like, and I just wasn't this time.
It'd probably be better seeing it in the cinemas as well. I think it would have been cooler. Kane Dogs, biggest negative. Tear it down. One of your favourite films of all time.
One of my favourite films of all time. I think, as Brody has said, on second viewing, it's a much longer film because you know the destination. And for me, I couldn't count on two hands how many times I've seen this film. So it definitely felt really slow for me. I think that was vitalised a bit for me, though, knowing that Angus hadn't seen it. So at least I could sort of live vicariously through the eyes of... I wonder what it would be like. I can't remember not knowing what it's like. But I don't have a lot of negatives for this film. I think pacing, when as we've said, if you know the ending, takes a while to get to some parts.
Yeah.
Outside of that, man, I fucking love this film. Everything is so great. The little bits of information that I still forget, like how Mr. Orange's character gets shot, because I'm like, well, if he's a cop, why was he shot by another cop? And you're like, oh no, he was shot by like a bystander who had a gun, and then he killed. Yeah. So I don't have a lot of negatives. I'm looking for them, but I just I think I've got just those goggles on that. This film is always going to be real close.
Those goggles look nutty as fuck, by the way.
Angus, I do want to ask you though. Had you guessed who the cop was before it was revealed? Had you confidently guessed?
Yeah, no, I was fairly certain that it was Mr. Orange.
Yeah.
Because at first I'm like, it might have been Tarantino's character, because we haven't seen him, and it would be cool to make yourself
the one guy that died first is the cop.
Is the cop? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that idea, but I think it was kind of as soon as the what was his name?
Mr. Pink.
No, Mr. Blonde. Yeah. As soon as Mr. Blonde rocked up and they started talking, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Orange.
It's not going to be Mr. Blonde.
Something's just fucked up. Yeah. Yeah. So I could tell, but again, it's a
film that's since been reiterated in multiple different versions and incarnations, and we've seen this story now played out quite a lot of times in films that have come after it. I guess that sort of spoils it.
Because I feel like I remember hearing that because Tarantino worked as a video busters checkout person or whatever, and just loved old films. So a lot of the stuff that he uses in his films even today, they're all still kind of
inspired
themes and stuff that are inspired from older films.
Yeah.
So it's not the first time that there's been something out of chronological order.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of mixed and mashed it into
different
his own kind of thing.
Different stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I can definitely get behind, because there's not a lot of auteurs.
There's not enough of that
in the
anymore.
world now. Not really. Yeah, cool. I think that's about it. I reckon we'll keep this one short, guys, because it's... I think this movie is a very much love it or hate it.
Yep.
I think... I mean, you could be a bit indifferent to it, but I feel like there's enough in there for people to absolutely love it or absolutely
I think, generally speaking, the first impression that you get from this film is going to be the impression you'll have for this film. I don't think you're going to watch it, hate it at first, and then be like, after a couple of days, sort of come around. I think if you watched it and you wasn't your sort of bar of soap, never will be.
That's it.
And that's the famous saying.
Don't wash yourself with this bar of soap.
It's not your bar of soap. Don't eat
it. Yeah, first. Can that be Jordan's Twitter handle on his new...
Hashtag not a bar of soap.
Hashtag I'm not a bar of soap.
Hashtag no soap.
Cool. All right, let's leave it there.
Hang on, I just made the Twitter account. It's hashtag I'm not bar soup. Jordan, that's your new Twitter account.
I'm not bar soup.
You've dropped the ball yet again, but we'll let it slide one last time.
Sweet. Next week, Cane Dogs, what are we reviewing? And are you 100% sure that we are reviewing it next week?
Pulp Fiction. No. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we promised this time.
This time for sure.
This time for sure.
We actually looked it up.
Did you?
No.
I also didn't. Brody, did you look it up?
Yeah, 15th.
Super.
Look, we're going on the word of Brody. Fingers crossed. We'll let you know next week.
It's Tintin.
See you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you for listening to the Film Stars podcast. If you like that, we have a whole bunch of more. And next week, we promise that we're going to do the movie that we promised we were going to do last week, that we did this week, that we didn't. But next week, we're definitely doing it. Anyway, thank you for listening to this. If you listen to this, it's great. Listen to the others. Listen next week. We'll see you then. Bye.
Promise.